You think you live in a huge world, but from space, all of humanity is just a tiny dot of light. From this height, all borders vanish, no countries, no wars, just a lonely planet drifting in endless darkness. The place holding all human history is so small, it's nearly invisible in the vast universe. Then the moon appears, Earth's familiar companion, but the distance between them is far greater than you imagine. If Earth were a basketball, the moon would be 8 meters away. Most of that space is completely empty. Light is the fastest thing in the universe, yet it still takes over a second to travel from the moon to Earth. 1 second sounds short, but in space that's an incredibly close distance between two celestial bodies. And we still haven't left Earth's backyard. The solar system is millions of times larger. From farther away, Earth becomes a faint dot, barely visible to the naked eye. All of human history, every war, civilization, and dream once existed on that tiny dot. Humans think they're important, but out there, the universe doesn't even notice we exist. Distances in space are so vast, the human brain can hardly grasp them through ordinary intuition. We're used to maps of Earth, but a map of the solar system makes every ocean on the planet meaningless. Even the fastest spacecraft ever built takes years just to cross the first few distances in the solar system. Space isn't like science fiction. It's silent, cold, and almost absolutely empty. The scariest thing about the universe isn't giant planets, but the endless empty voids between them. Then you begin to understand, Earth is not the center of anything in this vast universe. The sun we always look up to is just an ordinary star among hundreds of billions of others. But before leaving the solar system, we need to understand what has kept all the planets orbiting for billions of years. Next, we'll get closer to the true heart of the solar system, the giant sun that swallows everything. If the sun vanished right now, the entire solar system would disintegrate into darkness within just a few minutes. Every planet you know, from Mercury to Neptune, is held in place by the sun's immense gravity. The sun is so huge that over 1 million Earths could fit inside it, with room to spare. From Earth, the sun looks like a bright circle in the sky. But in reality, it's a giant monster. Sunlight takes over 8 minutes to reach Earth. That means you always see the sun's past. If the sun switched off right now, humanity wouldn't notice until 8 minutes later. Inside the sun, the core temperature reaches over 15 million degrees, a hell where normal matter cannot exist. There, hydrogen atoms collide violently to produce the energy that powers the entire solar system. Every second, the sun releases more energy than all of humanity has ever used in its entire history. The scary part is, we live extremely close to a giant fusion fireball that has been burning for billions of years. Even at 150 million kilometers away, the sun's heat still sustains all life on Earth. If Earth were just a few percent closer, the oceans might have boiled away long ago. But if it were a bit farther, the whole planet could be frozen in eternal darkness. Life on Earth exists only because this planet sits at the perfect distance from that giant sun. Yet the sun is not quiet. It constantly creates energy storms more powerful than all nuclear bombs combined. A strong enough solar storm could wipe out satellites, destroy the internet, and throw modern civilization into chaos. But even this giant monster won't live forever. Someday, the sun will begin to die. In about 5 billion years, the sun will swell into a red giant and swallow the nearest planets. Then you realize all life on Earth exists only because of a temporary star in the cold universe. But the sun is just the center. The distances between planets are far greater than you imagine. In sci-fi movies, planets always look close together. In reality, the solar system is almost nothing but cold, empty space. If you placed the planets to scale, most of the screen would just be endless darkness between them. People often think the solar system is packed with planets, but it's mainly nearly absolute emptiness. The average distance from Earth to Mars is hundreds of times greater than the Earth-Moon distance. Even light takes many minutes to travel between nearby planets in this vast solar system. If you drove non-stop to the Moon, the trip would take nearly half a year. But to reach Mars at that same speed, you'd have to drive for hundreds of years through endless nothingness. The gaps between planets are so huge that most spacecraft see nothing but darkness for months on end. Space is not crowded, it's cold, dark, and almost completely silent. Even asteroids are so far apart that real-life spacecraft almost never hit them. The solar system isn't a busy city, it's like a vast desert where planets drift far apart. In those gaps, Voyager has been silently flying for nearly 50 years and still hasn't truly left the solar system. Voyager moves many times faster than a bullet, but against the size of the solar system, that speed is pitifully slow. If a commercial airplane flew to Neptune, the trip would take hundreds of years without stopping. The scariest thing about the solar system isn't the giant planets, but the almost infinite emptiness between them. When you look at a paper map of the solar system, your brain is almost always fooled about real distances. Then you understand why exploring space is harder than any ocean humanity has ever crossed on Earth. In the universe, distance is the greatest enemy of any civilization that wants to leave its home planet. Maybe countless civilizations exist out there, but the emptiness between stars keeps them forever apart. Yet within this vast solar system, there is a giant that has silently protected life on Earth for billions of years. There is a planet so large that all the other planets combined are dimmed before its greatness. Jupiter is more than 1,000 times Earth's volume, a world too huge for humans to truly picture. If Earth were a grape, Jupiter would be a giant basketball floating in the darkness. The most amazing thing about Jupiter isn't its size, but its immense gravity that protects Earth every day. For billions of years, Jupiter has acted like a giant shield, blocking countless asteroids from entering the inner solar system. Without Jupiter, Earth might have suffered many more extinction-level impacts throughout its history. That immense gravity gave life on Earth enough time to evolve over billions of peaceful years. But Jupiter is not peaceful. It's a world of violent storms far beyond any hurricane on Earth. On its gaseous surface, a storm has been raging continuously for hundreds of years without stopping. That storm is so large that 3 Earths could fit inside it, with room to spare. Unlike Earth, Jupiter has no true solid ground. You would sink forever into its giant ocean of gas. The pressure inside Jupiter is so great that matter can turn into states never seen on Earth. Around Jupiter are dozens of moons. Some of them might hide oceans and even life beneath their ice. Europa is so special that under its thick ice shell there might exist a vast ocean no one has ever touched. If life exists anywhere else in the solar system besides Earth, Europa might be one of the most hopeful places. From hundreds of millions of kilometers away, Jupiter is still large enough to dominate the night skies of its many moons. When you truly see Jupiter, you understand that the solar system is not just vast, it contains worlds almost mythical. But even this giant is just a small planet orbiting an ordinary star in the vast galaxy. Beyond Jupiter, there are even stranger worlds drifting in the cold darkness far away. Next, we'll approach the most beautiful planet, where giant rings silently rotate in the dark. There is a planet so beautiful that if you saw it in the real sky, you'd think it couldn't exist naturally. Saturn has the most famous rings in the solar system, but they're not solid as you imagine. The entire ring system is made of countless pieces of ice and rock racing around Saturn at terrifying speed. If you stood on an ice chunk inside the rings, you'd see millions of other rocks gliding by in absolute silence. The most amazing fact is that those giant rings are much thinner than you ever thought. If you shrunk Saturn's rings to the width of a sheet of paper, their thickness would be barely a dust layer. From far away, Saturn looks peaceful and perfect, but inside its atmosphere are unimaginably violent storms. Winds on Saturn can reach speeds many times faster than any storm ever recorded on Earth. What haunts scientists even more is the moon Titan drifting around this giant planet. Titan is the only world beyond Earth with rivers, lakes, and rain, except they're made of liquid methane. If you stepped onto Titan without a spacesuit, your body would freeze almost instantly in that extreme cold. Yet that freezing place has chemical conditions that make many scientists suspect life might have once appeared. You realize the solar system contains not just rock and gas, but worlds completely alien to human imagination. Strangely, Saturn's density is so low that it could almost float on water if there existed an ocean large enough. A planet nearly 100 times larger than Earth is light enough to float. The universe truly is stranger than any fiction. From Saturn's moons, the giant rings would fill the sky like a mythical belt of light stretching endlessly. Billions of years ago, those rings might have been a moon torn apart by Saturn's immense gravity. But the rings won't last forever. They're slowly disappearing, bit by bit, into the darkness of time. Even the most beautiful sights in the solar system are just brief moments in the universe's billion-year timeline. Beyond Saturn, sunlight grows weak, and the solar system enters the truly cold, dark region. Beyond Saturn, light fades, darkness thickens, and emptiness becomes terrifyingly cold. At this distance, the sun is no longer a blazing center. It looks like just a slightly brighter star. Here, Uranus drifts around the sun in silence for billions of years, never fully explored by humans. Uranus is so strange that it almost lies completely sideways as it orbits the sun. 1 year on Uranus lasts over 80 Earth years. Winter there is nearly a human lifetime long. Farther out, temperatures drop to levels where no familiar form of life could possibly exist. But even farther, a deep blue planet still silently rotates in nearly eternal darkness. Neptune is the farthest planet in the solar system. Sunlight takes over 4 hours to reach this place. If you stood on Neptune at noon, the sun would shine only like a very bright star in a dark sky. Even at that extreme distance, Neptune still has the fastest winds in the solar system. Those winds are so strong that they exceed the speed of sound right there in the cold darkness at the solar system's edge. 1 year on Neptune lasts more than 160 Earth years. A human lifetime isn't enough to see it complete one orbit. At this remote place, space becomes so quiet that everything seems to drift outside of time itself. You begin to understand. The solar system is not a crowded cluster of planets. It's a dark ocean containing a few lonely islands. Even sunlight from the sun grows faint as it crosses the enormous emptiness of the outer solar system. If you were born here, you would never feel the sun as a warm center of life like people on Earth do. But Neptune is still not the final boundary of our vast solar system. Ahead lies a frozen graveyard containing countless forgotten worlds drifting beyond the sun's weak light. In that place, Pluto still quietly orbits the sun like a forgotten memory at the edge of humanity's familiar universe. Next, we enter the Kuiper Belt, where the final icy worlds sleep in eternal darkness. Beyond Neptune's orbit lies a vast dark region where sunlight has almost lost its last warmth. This is the Kuiper Belt, a frozen graveyard holding billions of remnants left over from when the solar system first formed. These objects have remained almost untouched for over 4 billion years in the cold darkness at the solar system's edge. In that dark region, Pluto still quietly orbits the sun as a forgotten world. Pluto was once considered the ninth planet, but then it was demoted in a single controversial vote. Still, Pluto is a real world with ice mountains, an atmosphere, and vast frozen plains. Where sunlight is thousands of times weaker than on Earth, ice on Pluto is as hard as rock, and temperatures approach absolute zero. One day on Pluto lasts more than 6 Earth days, but 1 year there is nearly 200 human years. The scariest part is that Pluto is not alone. Out there, countless other icy worlds drift silently. Some of those objects are so large that they once made scientists argue about the true definition of a planet. Eris, Haumea, Makemake, those nearly unknown names exist at the coldest edge of the solar system. This place feels more like an ancient graveyard than a planetary system. Everything is slow, frozen, and almost motionless. Yet, these ancient remnants preserve the original memory of how the solar system was born billions of years ago. Scientists believe studying the Kuiper Belt is like looking back in time to the solar system's childhood. So humanity sent a small probe into that darkness to see with its own eyes worlds no one had ever touched. After nearly 10 years of continuous flight, New Horizons finally saw Pluto appear in the outermost dark region. The first images sent back amazed all of humanity. Pluto was not dead. It was a lively and complex world. But even the Kuiper Belt is not the final edge of the solar system. Beyond lies something even farther, darker, and more mysterious, a place no one has ever seen. Next, we follow Voyager, the small machine carrying humanity's final farewell beyond the stars. Two small machines are flying through interstellar darkness, farther than anything humanity has ever built. They were launched from Earth in 1977 when humans didn't even have the internet or modern smartphones. No one knew then that those two machines would become the farthest ambassadors of human civilization. Voyager has no crew, no windows, no life, just a lonely machine drifting through endless emptiness. But inside it carries a special message for anyone who might find it in the distant future. That is the Golden Record, a disk containing sounds, images, and greetings from Earth sent out to the stars. Humanity put on that ship the sound of ocean waves, children laughing, and music representing Earth. It's like a message in a bottle thrown into the cosmic ocean, hoping someone someday will read it. After decades of continuous travel, Voyager has passed the orbits of all the planets and is approaching the solar system's boundary. Then it reached the heliopause, where the solar wind weakens before the cold space between the stars. This was the first time an object made by humans entered true interstellar space. But even after flying for nearly 50 years, Voyager has not gone far on the scale of the galaxy. Voyager is many times faster than a bullet, but against the distances between stars, it's almost standing still. If headed toward the nearest star, Voyager would need tens of thousands of years to get there with current technology. By the time Voyager arrives, humanity on Earth might have gone extinct long ago. Then you realize distances between stars are so vast they almost defy any dream of exploration. But however tiny, Voyager still carries proof that humans once existed in this cold universe. Maybe millions of years from now, an alien civilization will find that machine drifting in endless darkness. If that happens, Voyager will be Earth's final whisper to the vast universe out there. But even Voyager has not yet reached the solar system's final boundary. Ahead lies an even larger dark region. There might exist a giant sphere surrounding the entire solar system, but no one has ever seen it directly. This is the Oort Cloud, an almost invisible boundary so far away that sunlight becomes as weak as a memory. Unlike the planets or the Kuiper Belt, the Oort Cloud surrounds the solar system in all directions. If Earth were inside a single room, the Oort Cloud would stretch outward like a giant city in the dark. The distance to the Oort Cloud is so great that Voyager would need tens of thousands of years to enter that dark region. This is believed to be the source of many comets that have entered the inner solar system over billions of years. A tiny gravitational nudge is enough to send those lonely ice chunks flying thousands of billions of kilometers toward the sun. Many of the asteroids that killed the dinosaurs might have begun their journey from that very dark, remote place. The scariest part is we have never directly seen the Oort Cloud, even though we live inside it. It's too far, too dark, and too sparse. Humans only know of its existence through gravitational traces. You realize the solar system's edge is not a wall. It just gradually fades into interstellar darkness. Even the sun's gravity grows weak at this remote, cold place in the emptiness of the galaxy. A passing star close enough could disturb the entire Oort Cloud, like wind blowing through cosmic dust. Perhaps many other stars also carry their own Oort clouds through the vast galaxy. The solar system is not truly alone. It's just one small bubble among billions of other star systems. Seen from far enough away, the entire solar system would be just a faint dot of light in the darkness. Every planet, every ocean, every human civilization has existed inside that tiny dot for billions of years. Then you understand, after all these unimaginable distances, we still haven't truly left the Milky Way galaxy. The solar system that humans see as huge is just a speck of dust in a galaxy containing hundreds of billions of stars. In this final part, we will view the entire solar system from cosmic distances to understand how truly small we are. After all, we still haven't really left the Milky Way, the giant galaxy where we exist. The Milky Way is so wide that light takes over 100,000 years to travel from one end to the other. Inside that galaxy, the sun is just an ordinary star lying quietly in a less prominent outer region. No central position, no special status, no spotlight, just a faint dot among hundreds of billions of other stars. If the entire solar system vanished right now, most of the galaxy wouldn't even notice anything happened. The scariest thing about the universe is not that it's dangerous, it's that it's so vast, it's almost indifferent to our existence. The nearest star system to the Sun is Alpha Centauri at 4.3 light-years away. With current technology, humans are still almost trapped inside that small bubble called the solar system. But even the Milky Way is not the center of the universe. It's just one ordinary galaxy among thousands of billions of others. Each galaxy holds hundreds of billions of stars, and around many of those stars may exist countless unknown worlds. Perhaps out there, other civilizations are asking the same question humans once asked about their place in the cosmos. Or maybe they've never known that in a small corner of the galaxy Earth once existed for billions of years. Seen far enough away, every war, every border, every human ambition becomes tiny beyond belief. All of human history, from the Egyptian pyramids to modern cities, happened on that tiny speck of dust. Then you understand what makes Earth special is not its size, but that here, life once looked up at the stars. The universe does not make us meaningless. It makes the moment life exists more precious than ever. Perhaps the most beautiful thing about humanity is that no matter how tiny we are, we never stop trying to understand the vast universe out there. From ancient caves to modern telescopes, humans have always looked up at the sky with the same eternal question. We've measured distances between planets, but we still don't know where the universe truly ends in endless darkness. And perhaps the greatest question is not how vast the universe is, but whether out there someone is looking back at us,